or grieving the literal loss of someone she loved as part of her extended family. What makes Christine's revelations so profound is that they paint a picture of a woman who has endured multiple layers of loss and yet emerged with a voice stronger than ever. She has been honest about the fact that her healing is ongoing, that grief does not have a tidy ending, and that the scars of manipulation and addiction never fully disappear. But she has also shown that survival and joy are possible even after years of despair. Fans who once rooted for her as a sympathetic figure within the Sister Wives narrative now celebrate her as a symbol of resilience and authenticity. These confessions have also reignited debate about Kody Brown's role in the family's downfall. Many viewers see Christine's words as confirmation of long-held suspicions that Kody favored Robyn, that he manipulated his other wives with promises he never intended to keep, and that he failed to provide the kind of love and security that polygamy was supposed to embody. Christine's testimony has become more than just a personal revelation. It has become a cultural commentary on the dangers of manipulation within relationships and the often unseen toll of religiously framed polygamous marriages. Christine's willingness to speak openly about her struggles with addiction, manipulation, and grief also highlights the evolution of her identity beyond the Sister Wives franchise. No longer defined solely as one of Kody's wives, she has built a life where her story belongs entirely to her. She has embraced new love, new opportunities, and a freedom that once seemed unattainable. Yet she does not shy away from acknowledging the shadows that shaped her. Instead, she integrates them into her narrative as a reminder of where she has been and how far she has come. In a culture where reality television often glosses over the raw truths of human experience, Christine's confessions stand out as unusually authentic. She has turned her pain into a testimony, her mistakes into lessons, and her grief into a shared human experience that resonates far beyond the fan base of Sister Wives. Whether viewers tune in out of curiosity, loyalty, or simply the desire to see justice in a family saga that has long felt unbalanced, Christine's story delivers something rare, honesty unvarnished by the gloss of television. Ultimately, Christine Brown's revelations about drug addiction, love bombing, and grief redefine not only her own narrative but also the larger story of the Brown family. They remind us that behind the spectacle of reality TV are real people grappling with real pain. Her story is no longer just about escaping polygamy but about confronting the deepest wounds of her past and finding the courage to share them with the world. For fans who have followed her journey from obedient wife to liberated woman, these confessions are not just shocking, they are a testament to her strength. They confirm that Christine's voice, once drowned out by the chaos of a dysfunctional marriage, is now clearer and more powerful than ever. For years, fans of Sister Wives have wondered why Kody Brown uprooted his entire family from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona. The move shattered their once tight-knit household and set off a chain of events that many believe led to the family's ultimate downfall. Now, Christine Brown is finally breaking her silence, and what she reveals about the so-called dream move is sending shockwaves through the Sister Wives world. The Brown family's dramatic relocation from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona, has always lingered in the minds of Sister Wives fans as one of the most controversial decisions in the show's long history. For years, questions swirled about why Kody Brown insisted on uprooting 4 wives, more than a dozen children, and their already fragile dynamic from a comfortable setup in Nevada. At the time, the move was sold as a necessary fresh start, a chance to build on a piece of land that would eventually bring the sprawling polygamous family closer together. Yet in the years since, what unfolded was not unity but chaos, unraveling relationships, financial strain, and heartbreak that no one could have fully predicted. Now, Christine Brown, once considered one of the most loyal and supportive wives, has broken her silence in a way that fans have been waiting for. With her willingness to open up about the painful realities behind the move, Christine has peeled back the curtain on Kody's motivations, revealing truths that cast the Flagstaff chapter of their lives in an entirely new light. Her revelations do not simply explain why they moved, but also illuminate the deep cracks in the foundation of the Brown family that had been quietly building long before the world noticed. When the family first announced their departure from Las Vegas, the public narrative was centered on opportunity, safety, and a new dream. The Browns owned 4 homes side by side in Nevada, a setup that viewers believed gave them more harmony than they had ever known. Yet, Kody painted a picture of Flagstaff as a better place for his children, a more suitable home where they could thrive. Christine now admits that she felt confused even then. In her words, Las Vegas was the first place where the family had actually lived in harmony. Each wife had her own home, but they were all within walking distance. Children ran back and forth, cousins and siblings essentially growing up under one compound-like neighborhood that resembled the idealized polygamous lifestyle Kody always claimed to want. For Christine, the fact that he wanted to leave that behind made little sense, and the reasons she heard never satisfied her heart. What fans never fully realized was that the move to Flagstaff was not simply about dreams or education, as Kody once claimed. Christine has now shared that there was far more brewing beneath the surface, particularly involving financial struggles and the constant tension between the wives. Kody, she explains, was restless in Las Vegas. While he framed the move as a chance for new beginnings, Christine suggests that his dissatisfaction had more to do with control and image than family unity. He wanted something grander, something that showcased him as a leader with vision, even if it came at the expense of the stability they already had. This desire for control would become clearer as the family faced the practical realities of the move. The Browns sold their Las Vegas homes at a loss, creating financial instability that would haunt them for years. They purchased a large piece of undeveloped land in Flagstaff known as Coyote Pass, but instead of building the dream compound Kody promised, the land sat idle. Christine recalls how the family watched their money drain away, paying for mortgages and rent while nothing materialized on the property. For her, this was devastating. She had believed in the promise of a new home, a single house where all of them would share space as one big family. That dream was dangled in front of her like hope, but it never became reality. Behind the cameras, Christine also felt the growing weight of Kody's favoritism. The move to Flagstaff, she now argues, wasn't only about a new life but also about Kody's growing closeness with Robyn. Christine has bravely admitted that she began to realize Robyn's voice held more influence than any of the other wives. Decisions seemed to shift in her favor, and Flagstaff was just another example. Christine reveals that the supposed reasons, better schools, safer environment, future opportunities, were simply masks for a reality in which Kody wanted to reshape his life around Robyn and her children. The fallout of this decision was profound. Once they arrived in Flagstaff, the wives were no longer within walking distance. They lived scattered across the city, far removed from the tight-knit neighborhood they had left behind. Christine has admitted that this fractured dynamic destroyed the bonds between the wives, making each of them feel isolated and disconnected. She describes nights when she sat alone in her rental, wondering why they had left behind so much just to become strangers in a new place. For the children, too, the move was jarring. Many struggled to adjust to new schools, new friends, and the absence of the bustling family community they once had in Nevada. For Christine personally, the move to Flagstaff marked the beginning of her journey toward independence. It was there that she began to see Kody for who he really was, not the man who had once swept her up in visions of celestial family unity, but someone who seemed increasingly distant, critical, and dismissive of her needs. She recalls begging him to consider building on Coyote Pass to make good on his promises, but instead watching him stall, argue, and shift blame. Each delay chipped away at her hope and eventually her faith in the marriage. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of Christine's revelation is how she ties the Flagstaff move directly to the emotional collapse of the family. She explains that Kody's obsession with the property and his determination to uproot them against their wishes became symbolic of his broader disregard for the wives' voices. The once united, if fragile, plural family dissolved in Flagstaff. By the time the pandemic struck, exposing even deeper rifts and forcing Christine to confront Kody's lack of affection and respect, the damage had already been done. Fans have been stunned by Christine's willingness to finally say what so many suspected. For years, speculation abounded that the move had less to do with schools or safety and more to do with Kody's ambitions and favoritism. Hearing it confirmed by Christine validates what viewers saw unfolding on screen but also brings a deeper sadness. What was once portrayed as a fresh start was in reality the beginning of the end. Today, as Christine builds her new life with her husband David Woolley, she looks back at Flagstaff with a mixture of grief and clarity. She does not deny that the city itself is beautiful, nor that there were moments of joy with her children, but she sees it as the place where the dream of plural marriage finally collapsed. For her, the truth about the move is not simply about geography but about the lies, favoritism, and control that defined Kody's leadership. Her candid words have sparked fierce debates among fans, many of whom feel betrayed by the way the move was initially framed on the show. Some argue that Christine's perspective finally explains why the Browns seem to fall apart so quickly after leaving Las Vegas. Others point out that it highlights how much power Kody gave Robyn in shaping the family's future. In either case, Christine's truth has rewritten the story of the Flagstaff move, transforming it from a curious mystery into a heartbreaking revelation. As Sister Wives continues to air and the family's story unfolds in real time, the decision to leave Las Vegas for Flagstaff will forever be remembered as the pivot point that changed everything. Thanks to Christine, fans now understand that it was not a move made for unity or safety but a decision born of control, favoritism, and unfulfilled promises. It was the moment when the cracks in Kody's vision split wide open, and the family that had once dreamed of forever together began to unravel for good. For fans of Sister Wives, the Brown family has always represented a complex mix of devotion, drama, and deep interpersonal tension. Over the years, viewers have witnessed the family navigate the unique challenges of a polygamous household, from love triangles to parenting conflicts and public scrutiny. Yet, beneath the surface of family outings and TLC filming schedules, there have been moments of conflict so intense that they have left lasting emotional scars. Now, Christine Brown has stepped forward with shocking revelations that expose an entirely new layer of drama involving her co-wife Mary and her treatment of her children, culminating in a final blowout fight that shook the foundations of the family. Christine's decision to speak out comes after years of watching fans speculate on what really goes on behind the cameras. While Mary has often portrayed herself as calm, spiritual, and patient, Christine's account paints a very different picture. According to Christine, Mary's interactions with her children, as well as with the children of the other wives, were not always nurturing. Christine recalls multiple incidents where Mary's responses to the children's behavior ranged from dismissive to outright explosive. She describes moments in which minor conflicts escalated into full-blown arguments, leaving children feeling confused and unsafe. This behavior, Christine explains, was often hidden from viewers or edited out during filming, which allowed Mary to maintain a public persona that contrasted sharply with her behind-the-scenes actions. Tension between Christine and Mary reached its peak during a period that Christine now calls the most emotionally challenging time of her life. The Brown family had relocated to Flagstaff, Arizona, and the pressures of a new environment, unfinished property, and the daily stress of filming heightened existing conflicts. Christine recalls how Mary's temper flared when children did not follow her instructions perfectly, or when she perceived disrespect from them, even if it was unintentional. These interactions were not just isolated incidents but recurring patterns that Christine says caused ongoing stress for the children, some of whom began acting out in response. Christine witnessed firsthand how her own children absorbed the tension, often retreating into silence or expressing anxiety over the possibility of being the next target of Mary's frustration. One of the most startling aspects of Christine's revelations is her claim that the fights were not only directed at the children but sometimes included adults in the household as well. According to Christine, attempts to intervene or mediate were often met with defensiveness or aggression from Mary, creating a toxic atmosphere in the home. She describes an incident in which she tried to calmly discuss boundaries for the children with Mary, only for the conversation to escalate into shouting, accusations, and hurtful remarks. Christine admits that these encounters left her feeling powerless, frustrated, and ultimately determined to protect her children from further emotional harm. The climactic blowout fight that Christine describes was a turning point for both her relationship with Mary and the family dynamic as a whole. The altercation began as a disagreement over parenting decisions but quickly spiraled out of control. Christine details how words were exchanged in rapid succession, emotions boiled over, and what started as a disagreement became a full-scale confrontation in front of several family members. This confrontation, Christine reveals, was the culmination of months of tension, resentment, and unaddressed grievances. It was not just a fight but a symbolic breaking point, where the underlying fractures in the family structure could no longer be ignored. According to Christine, the aftermath of this blowout was felt by everyone in the household. Children were left emotionally drained, struggling to understand the intensity of the conflict and what it meant for their sense of security within the family. Other wives were forced to navigate the fallout, often taking sides or trying to maintain peace in a household suddenly fraught with tension. For Christine, the incident solidified her understanding that certain dynamics within the family were unhealthy and unsustainable. It was a moment that clarified her own priorities and the need to advocate fiercely for her children's emotional well-being. Christine's revelations also shed light on the broader implications of the family's polygamous structure. She explains that while multiple wives can provide support and companionship, the system also creates opportunities for conflict, particularly when boundaries are not respected and personalities clash. Mary's actions, as described by Christine, highlight how differences in parenting philosophy, temperament, and communication style can escalate when magnified by a large, interconnected family system. The blowout fight, therefore, is not just an isolated incident but a reflection of the structural pressures inherent in the Brown family's lifestyle. Fans watching the show have often speculated about tension between the wives, particularly regarding favoritism, attention from Kody, and conflicting schedules. Christine's account provides context to these suspicions, revealing that some conflicts are deeply rooted in the day-to-day management of children and household responsibilities. Her exposure of Mary's behavior challenges the narrative that the family operates smoothly and harmoniously. Instead, it underscores that beneath the surface there are unresolved issues, emotional strain,